I really like that jazzy beat, but it seems like I've got the wrong music for an early video. I should do it a little later. Um, Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. Let's see who we have in the chat. And I'm losing my voice. I don't know why. Who knows? Maybe I have the Rona for the fourth time or some shit. Who knows? Hey, Prepper Cowboy, what's going on, Mr. Brad, Mr. Nate? Hello, hello. Everyone's favorite mod, Loretta. Um, oh, that's me. Duh. Never mind. My bad. Uh, all righty. Good, good. Looks like we have everyone here. Coffee. SKM. Hello, hello. Surplus Pro. What is going on? I might be in your neck of the woods later in the next week. So if I can come up for air, I will try to reach out. Arkansas living. Yes, I am. I take you're referring to Uvalde, and actually, I got hit up with that by a coworker who has family in that area. So, hey, Rip. So I wanted to actually address. I'm gonna actually that'll be. I was gonna cover some stuff about the supply chain that I'd seen, but I think we've beaten that to death. And in light of all the conversations a lot of us are having, hey, ciao, y'all, Homestead. What's going on? Welcome, welcome. Um, the conversations we're having about people behaving badly, coming unhinged, acting insane. Uh, I thought it might be a good conversation to talk about what these situations. Oh no, not at all. You're not intruding at all. It was very timely comment because I was actually, like I said, going to talk about something else. And about 40 minutes ago, someone hit me up about this very subject when it broke. And so, for those of you who are unaware, in Uvalde, Texas, which is about 40 minutes west of San Antonio, apparently, and I don't have all the details at the moment, but apparently, an 18-year-old individual uh, tried to attack the students in an elementary school. Now, I've heard different reports, so I got bits and pieces. Some said a couple of kids were killed. Others say there were a bunch injured, but nobody killed. So I don't know all the details yet. Um, what I do know is that the cop on location, because they have. So, if for those of you unfamiliar with Texas, each school district, they're all called an ISD, an independent school district. Each one runs its own business, and then they have to comply with certain state regulations, and then within those regulations, they have maneuvering. Oh, so it's a lot worse than we thought. Um, yeah, 2 dead, 13 injured. See, and that's what I'm talking about. So you got 2 dead, 13, and here's one teacher and 14 killed. See, so, and again, it's so early. I don't think the news can get close enough to ask the cops questions. Um, but some of the previous active shooter training has changed the way the police respond to the active shooters now. Um, I got to actually sit in on a seminar, and I actually didn't do it as a guardsman. I did it as a corporate guy that was taught by a federal agent, an FBI agent, and he was active. He's still in the agency, and the Houston SWAT commander on one of the teams, and they talked about. They went through scenarios of active shooter in the workplace in this instance, and the behavior, psychology, things to look for. And I thought, in light of the fact that this has been happening, we've had people on the left shoot folks, we've had people on the right, we've had guys with absolute bonkers just started shooting anyone. Yeah, we sure have. So, so I thought it would be appropriate, since we've been talking about psychology, we're talking about, and I got to give Lucky credit. She's the one who kind of kicked it all off with the, people you trust, don't trust, people acting differently. And this is important stuff, because this is the kind of stuff when society gets put under pressure. Yeah, it was an 18-year-old. And why he went after an elementary school, I do not know. Um, and I'm sure that'll come out in the future. But yeah, it's uh, it's probably good for us to do a refresher on what to do. And talking to these guys, hearing what they had to say. Um, Most active shooters, and again, they don't often get the guy alive. I believe they said somebody up here said the shooter was already killed. I know my wife said that she thought the shooter had been killed. It's rare. Usually, maybe 1 out of 5 actually get caught alive because usually they just come out guns blazing, and the police or the MPs, wherever they're shooting happens to be occurring, they just get taken down. Um, so I wanted to do that, but before I do, there is one kind of public service announcement. I'd been seeing this on the news, and I didn't think much of it because it was kind of a fringe thing. And then I found out that one of Sassy's coworkers, little kids, I don't know the age, it's a elementary age, actually was diagnosed, and they think this is the case. And what they're finding is little kids there's an outbreak of this weird hepatitis among kids. And I just want to do a PSA. So if you have little ones, elementary school and younger, from toddler to elementary, that are in your family or in your circle, and they happen to be acting sick or they don't look right, get them checked out. They're not sure exactly what's going on, but I'm going to let this one run, and then we can kind of go on to that active shooter topic because I really think that's going to be relevant. So let me know if y'all have audio. It looks like it's up. Hey, Yard Dog, what's going on? All right, let's see if my man here. Oh, and he's paused. You just get to see him standing there looking silly with his fancy tie. Maybe not. Oh, so many fun things happen in the interwebs. For the record, I think the internet has been crap this last week. I don't know if you're all seeing that. All right, so I guess we're going to do this the old-fashioned way, and we're going to read the article. Watch, I'm going to start reading the article, and the video is going to come on. Um, in any case, health officials remain perplexed by mysterious cases of severe liver damage in hundreds of young children. The best available evidence points to a very common stomach bug that has not been known to cause liver issues in healthy children otherwise. I'll put the link here so you all can start your own research. Um, uh, the virus was detected in the blood of the stricken children, but oddly enough, was not seen in their actual livers. Um, there's a lot of things that don't make sense, says Eric Kramer, a virus researcher in the Institute of Molecular Genetics in France. Uh, he said, hanging out like a haircut and a biscuit. Hey, Ark, what's going on? And anyone I missed up here. Health officials have in a dozen countries looked into the mystery, and they're asking, has there been a surge of a new stomach bug that's causing more cases, or children more susceptible due to pandemic-related lockdowns, which sheltered them from viruses that they should have been exposed to? We've been talking about that natural immunity. Anyway, are children more susceptible? I'm sorry, is there a mutated version of this virus going around, or a new germ that we are not aware of? And then is there some kind of haywire immune system reaction set off by past Rona 19 exposure, even if the child didn't get sick? And they actually don't know. They're struggling with this. Illnesses are considered rare. CDC officials said they're looking to 180 possible cases. So it has the symptoms of hepatitis, including inflammation of the liver, which would include fever, fatigue, loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, dark urine, strange stools, joint pain, and jaundice. So, folks, again, this is just a PSA. We won't go into this one too long. But if you have little kids, and again, this was kind of one of those things happening on the East Coast until it hit one of my wife's coworkers' kiddos. And she's been missing work a lot. Nobody was really sure why. They knew the boy was sick, but they're like, oh, he has the flu or something like normal kids. And then she said, hey, he can't keep anything down. He's throwing up. He's a bit jaundiced. They think it's hepatitis. And Sassy texted me and went, what the hell, is there a hepatitis thing going on with little kids? And I told her, yeah, we've been talking about it on the community. So we've had some new people sneak in. Hey, Gene, what's going on? So, folks, keep an eye on the little ones. Uh, hey, Klingon, Bug Dude, hello, Hillbilly, hey, and thank you. Yeah, so so it was there was an active shooter in Texas. In any case, folks, thank you, Gene. Yeah, this adenovirus, it seems very hit and miss. It's not very clear exactly what's happening with the kiddos, but again, watch the kiddos. They're not sure what. Only a few of the kids were even old enough to receive a vaccine, so they said it couldn't be the vaccine. It doesn't make sense because only 2 out of 180 had it. Um, they thought maybe an exposure to the Rona. They don't know. They don't know if it's something else going on. So keep an eye on your kids, the little ones, and be careful about that. I will look up really quick on the active shooter because I want to go into that. Uh, Now, Uvalde, sadly, is a place that so it's straight west of San Antonio, and the the town is just it's a cute town. It's one of those like rustic towns you see in TV. The folks have been really nice there, and it's just south of a place called Garner State Park, which I absolutely love. Um, so let's see. USA Today has a quick summary. Let's just get an update on what they've told us. There's no video for this one, guys, so we'll just kind of do a quick look through. It is, Gene. It's about 40 minutes to the west. You have to go through San Antone to hit it on the main highway, so it's not far at all. A lot of people, when they come from Uvalde, if the person doesn't know, they say, "I live outside San Antonio," and they go, "Oh, okay." But yeah, it's just west. And again, we'd go through San Antonio, another 30 minutes. You hit Uvalde. We pick up all our groceries, and then go into the mountains in the hill country. And there's a campground out there, and we'd go hang out. Um, that's a very good question, and I would think yes, but they're seeing it overseas as well. So they're not sure what the heck's going on. Plus, it hit Texas, but there have been no cases in Arizona or New Mexico, which are the other border states between Texas and Cali, where you'd think they'd show up. So yeah, I get where you're going. It's really, really strange. And I've talked to a few doctors, and they're like, it's really bizarre. Oh, here we go. Active shooter elementary school. Oh, I can't click on it through StreamYard. Oh no. Um, okay, where is it? Spectrum Local News. Okay, I'll flip to that one in a second. 2 are dead, multiple others injured, according to a spokesperson. Police. Oh, they got the suspect in custody. I was wrong. Oh, crap. They don't usually get them. They usually wind up dead. So, 66-year-old woman is in critical condition. One child being treated. ATF said they were on scene. School district said they have transported the city civic center. Oh, children have been sent to the civic center, which is secure now, and parents are going there to pick up children. Um, Uvalde is 85 miles west of San Antone. Police dispatcher said it is still an active scene. No other information is available from these folks. Good morning. Or good morning to us. It's good afternoon here. Oops, Uvalde, Texas shooting. Spectrum Local News. Let's see if I can pull that up here in a second. And I got Albany, New York. That's like nowhere near what I wanted. Let's try that again. So it looks like they may have caught the shooter. Here we go. And let's see if I have a video. And after which, we're going to talk a little bit about what you should do if yes, Vector, you're absolutely right. And actually, it's hitting a little south of them as far as them coming over, but then they're hitting the town on the way through, trying to get further into the country. Let's see. I think I got a video here for you, if it decides to come up, but maybe not. Hold on just a second here, folks. The posh high class morning. So good day. Good day is always good, man. Always good. All right. And there's no audio. That's not useful. All right. No, it's just an overhead view of the cops all walking around now that they've caught the guy. Okay, so there have been some fatalities. It doesn't seem to have been a bunch of people. So hey, you uniquely written. Thanks for joining us. Prepper Cowboy. Good day, mate. There you go. Did I miss anyone here saying hi? I'm trying to make sure I got everybody. So yeah, so fortunately it looks like they intervened quickly. But they unfortunately, usually the bad guy gets a head start before the responders come. So in elementary school, yeah, Klingon. So the way Texas is set up is hey Mimi. The way Texas is set up, each school board is called an ISD, an independent school district. They have their criteria that they have to meet for the state. However, each ISD has their own police force specific to the schools. Then, of course, you have the county sheriff, the constables, state troopers, whatever other overlapping uh, law enforcement happens to be in the area. In this case, this elementary appears to have been very close to uh, the actual town itself. So not only were the school police already on location, there was a cop on location because typically there are, but city cops were able to back them up very quickly. And it could have probably turned out a lot worse. But they probably enacted the active shooter protocol. They locked down the school. The kids were hiding. They turned the lights off. And, they made the shooter very miserable. So, so why do people do this, right? Why do people? And you kind of understand if the kid was beaten up in a high school and then he goes and shoots the kid who beat him up. It's like, okay, those two kids had a beef, but why would an 18-year-old go shoot little kids, right? That's kind of bizarre. So I saw this video. I thought this was pretty relevant. Let me see if I can get this bad boy running because I'd like to share with you. So this is a psychologist from U of H, University of Houston, and let me see if I can get that. Y'all should be able to hear this. Oh, maybe not. Hold on. Let's try that again. Because I immediately realized I had no audio set up on that puppy. All right, let's try again. And there we go. All right, let's see. Now, this is a psychology professor breaking down the mind of a mass shooter.
Shooter is talking about what his
Let
son
me raise
was
that.
doing leading up to the ambush. Antonios Pogorchis says his son
This is
cooked
an older
dinner
shooting,
and
by the
sat
way.
with his family and even said he loved them before he went to school on Friday morning.
The family says they too are shocked by what happened. The father gave an interview in Greek, so you are hearing the voice of an interpreter. Listen.
I feel the pain of the others, but I have the same pain. I have the same exact pain. I'm sorry. My kid, he wasn't the kind that gets into fights and things like that. He was a solid, good boy. He didn't drink. The only thing he did was work out and stuff like that.
His father claims his son was bullied, but is that what set off the 17-year-old?
Does the teenager share traits and characteristics similar to other accused mass shooters? David Gonzalez talked with a psychologist.
This is the face of the accused killer in the Santa Fe High School massacre. His motive for the mass shooting is still unknown. Kristen Anderson, a psychology professor at the University of Houston downtown, has studied different mass shooting suspects. She looks for common traits and characteristics.
Most mass shooters in the United States are men, well over nearly 100%. Most mass shooters are white men in the United States.
Anderson says it's a typical profile also found in most school shooters.
Once you get at one's gender and race, that accounts for a lot of the variability in these school shootings,
which she says are facts that can't be ignored.
When there is a terror attack or a mass shooting by a brown or black person, we often look to their ethnicity for explanation.
She says mass shooting suspects share characteristics of being marginalized by peers, and they seek ways to regain a sense of control.
What our culture tells young men to do, if their masculinity has been questioned or they've been dishonored, sadly, is to get a gun.
Anderson says they'll never be able to pinpoint what causes a person to snap, but other things have to be considered.
It doesn't mean at all that all white males are ticking time bombs, that it's inevitable that every white male is going to be violent. Not at all.
Reporting in Houston, David Gonzalez, KHOU 11 News.
Anderson says.
So you notice she treads a very fine line there, because statistically she's saying, okay, it's typically white males according to her stats. But she also points out, even when it's not a white male, and now if you noticed recently, this is a couple of years old, guys, recently we're seeing a lot of Hispanic or minority shooters, black, other ethnicities shooting. I think this shooting that they're talking about even preceded the Fort Hood shooting. So the dynamic is changing. But you notice she did backpedal and say, oh no, Ramos is not a white name at all. Yeah, it's unfortunately in the past, or statistically, she may be looking at her data set. And again, take that news program with a grain of salt, because they weren't one of my favorites in Houston, but I thought they did a good summary about the commonality. Every one of these mass shooters, regardless of their ethnicity or color, had certain things marginalized. They were angry or hateful about something, and then they lost their marbles. But the bigger question is this getting worse because of the Rona? And Klingon had a, where was it? But it says not all white males. Yeah, I know. I really, again, you have to take that one with a grain of salt. But they do, and that's where I was going, that aside. And again, that's an older video. What the FBI guy had said was, regardless of ethnicity, every shooter was marginalized, felt hopeless, was isolated, very often had lost a job, and hold on, I lost. Well, yeah, and that's where I'm going, Bug. It's yeah, possibly. Hold on, I lost track of the chat, got away from me here. Well, no, and I agree with that. And actually, in a lot of cases, it could be regardless of color. And I don't agree with their assessment that it's because how many gang shootings between minorities have occurred? Okay, I grew up on the streets. I watched kids of different ethnicities who weren't white shoot and cut each other all the time. But those are gang related, whereas this is a mass shooting. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like they're playing semantics with with the data, but it always has to do with anger. I do agree. Faith, accountability has been taken out of society, and no, they always do. Unfortunately, but this was probably the least obnoxious of the videos I saw. No, that I have not seen yet, Mimi. They're still updating. Actually, earlier in the chat, I thought there was 1 killed, 13 wounded. Someone else had 13 killed, 2 wounded. Someone said the shooter was dead. Someone else said he's still alive. So it's they're still developing. So we're gonna have to watch this during the night if we are caught in an event. We've talked about what to do in school, movie, etc. Okay, and this is where I was gonna go. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. And again, it depends how are you classifying the mass shooter, right? Um, I go into so if I go and shoot up another gang, technically I shot 10 guys. I'm a mass shooter, but I'm in a gang, so that's not a mass shooting, it's a gang shooting. But I go and shoot people who fired me, and that's a mass shooting. You know what I mean? Like it's all mass shooting or it's not. They gotta figure something out there. Yeah, and Rip's absolutely right. Yeah. And that's where I want to go with this. I wanted to kick it off with that. And I'm glad you guys were paying attention because there's more to it than that. Because lately we've seen, okay, so the guy in New York who shot up, if I recall correctly, was a black guy. I don't know what the ethnicity of this kid was in Uvalde, but knowing the demographic, he's either white or Latino or a combination. Um, oh no, absolutely not. And if they're so worried about gun violence, enforce the freaking laws in Chicago and New York, and you'll be amazed at how many people don't die because you actually throw the shooters in jail. I mean, they've gotten brazen, but that's uh but yeah, and Gene and Loretta have been posting links so you guys can kind of catch up with it. Possibly. And honestly, that's one of my fears. A lot of people are calling for a constitutional convention because they want to change certain things. But keep in mind, if things go haywire, that could very easily lead to a repeal of the Second Amendment. So I'm on the fence about how much I'd like to see a constitutional convention because that puts anything in the Constitution on the chopping block. Um, no, they're referred to as gang shootings. Or drug related or something like that. And I think, but you know what? Commonality. Why do kids join gangs? They don't have family. They don't have anyone to go to. They feel hopeless. They feel marginalized. They can't get into school. They can't get a good job. Whatever the case is, these are people who've been kind of set aside. But you think about it, we just spent 2.5 years marginalizing and isolating people because of Arona. That wasn't quite as bad as they made it out to be and freaked everyone out. So um, I wonder if we're now seeing the results. We're now, how would I say it? I guess the sin has been committed and now we're paying for it. I don't know. We're seeing the end result of shutdowns, lockdowns, mandates, do this, do that, isolating and separating people. Oh, wow. This won't get wide, Ben. Tells me the shooting happened a block away from the school. Thank you, Jen. Yes. And then again, 18-year-old, maybe he, for all we know, it could have been gang related somewhere else. He ran to the school to hide. A teacher confronted him, so he shot the teacher and then hurt other people. Like, we won't know. But yeah, we are reaping what we've sown. So when I went to this training course, and again, it was a federal agent, the SWAT team guy, and they're saying, look, these are actions you can take. I've been to several of these courses, both in corporate and as a guardsman, and it's enlightening to actually. I actually got to play a victim in an active shooter scenario on a joint reserve base. They brought my guys and girls in, and they painted us like we were dead. And we went and we killed over on the floor, and then the SWAT teams came through. All right, it was local SWAT. It was actually in Houston, and who was it? I think it was Galveston SWAT and Carrollton cops. I don't remember. It was a mix of agencies they were training, and the air wing had the bad guys, and Army played the victim. So we killed over and played dead, and everybody had their role. But it was interesting being a fly on the wall, literally, because I was dead, right? So I'm like on the floor with my little casualty card, and watching everyone walk through and conduct the mission with me just sitting there watching them because I was technically killed over. And that was different. This is true. That is absolutely true, and it's across the board. This is beyond a color thing. This is a people thing. Yep. So if you have teenagers, and not just Rip, everybody, if you have teenagers, get them a get home bag in their car as soon as they can drive. I made it mandatory for all of my kids to have a oh shit kit, is what I called it. And I told them if they're shooting anything at the high school, and we were in a Houston high school, so it was 3,500 kids, it was a shit pile of kids. I said, you get out, you get to your vehicle, and you go home. And if you can't drive out because they may be clogged, grab your bag and run. You're a mile and a half from the house, and all of them played sports. We had a lacrosse player, a football player, and a wrestler. I'm like, all of you guys run every day, run your asses home. If they write you up, I could care less. So definitely make sure. My 16-year-old last literally stated the exact date. Oh, yeah, she is definitely going Amish style. Tired of this system. It's exhausting, truly. It is. And see, your daughter has you, right? She has someone to bounce this off of. Not every parent handled it well. There are a lot of parents who freaked out. They didn't know what to do, and that reflected on the kids. So now, if the couple, the parents, the mother and father, and this is a little biblically related, but if the mother and father are not stable in the marriage, if the marriage is not founded, the kids suffer, right? And even if it's a single parent, a mom or a dad, but you have the extended family, the uncles, the grandparents, and the family is stable, the kids will be stable. Hey, Red. Um, yeah, absolutely. What's going on? So it could be gun grab 2.0. So let's go into what do you do? Because Rip and Ghetto were right on track with me as to where we were going to go. So we started with that, and actually, if I recall correctly, Red's not that far from there either. Um, yeah, it was. We had different reports, but it looks like they caught the shooter, which is really bizarre. They usually don't. Usually his ass is no mas. But I want to go through an active shooter scenario. Yeah, it makes you wonder. Yeah. So let me share this one because I thought this was neat. If it's the one I'm thinking of, hold on a second here. Let's see if I got the right screen up for you. They record them when they get their license. Oh yeah, it's absolutely. And now one of my sons, again, my youngest son is law enforcement, and so he has like a whole different assembly. But what's odd is in the state that he's currently in, he personally nor his wife can get a carry license as a civilian. But because they're on base and, of their MOSs, that's not a big issue. But yeah, that's interesting. And didn't California's law just get smacked down because it was unconstitutional? Yeah. Oh, and that's an interesting point right there. Yeah, that's it's almost like it's undoing. You know what's funny? Hey, Segment, Oz, to your topic, Brave New World, did they not have pretty much it was a free for all and everyone was medicated and they were distracted by stuff and nobody actually fought about anything. So makes you wonder who was right. Was it Orwell or was it Huxley? Anyway, we're going to play this one real quick. Let me make sure the audio's up and watch. I'm going to blow my eardrums off. Let me know if you can hear this, guys.
I want to apologize, ladies and gentlemen. There's a technical issue with the projector getting the film started, so we're working on that. So, how long does it take? It can take anywhere from 5 minutes to maybe 30. So, why is the motor there? Well, we'll make it right.
Drop the gun! Anybody hit? Yes, I'm hit. Call 911, let them know concealed carriers on site. 2 men down. 2 men down. Stay still!
What are you gonna do now?
Call it out. Got 911?
I got him on the line. Yeah, where is he? I'm hit.
Somebody help him out. Oh. Where you hit?
All right, bud. Somebody got shot.
You want help?
Hey, bud, I need help. I got a gun.
Nope. Don't touch the guns. Stay back with the guns.
We got a black one. We've got several people injured.
You got an arterial wound over here.
Upper lower.
Figure out something to do with him. You might need that other hand.
Someone else come up? He seems to be helping out.
Roll him over. Stay still.
Tourniquet in place, mark time. Okay, I'll stay on the line.
Keep his hands behind his back.
Hey, stop.
Hey, Dad,
I ain't moving, man.
You're good, man. You're good. Breathe.
I got a bad shoulder. Shut me your shoulder, man.
All right, what next?
Keep his hands open.
His gas on the back.
Spread him out.
Spread out.
All right, at a roll. Was that?
All right, so I thought that one was cool, and I'll tell you why. So you noticed when the responder came out, the person who came out, so this was simulating a theater shooting. The people who were in the theater were actually concealed handgun owners, and they picked one to be the guy carrying in the theater. Could be any one of us who are licensed, me, any one of you. You notice the shooting occurred. The guy who was doing the movie, he keeled over, and then the bad guys came in and he engaged the bad guys, and the bad guys went down. And you notice what he said was, call 911, tell them they have a license carry in the theater. Do not shoot me. I'm wearing blah, blah, blah. And then he pointed to someone and told that individual, you call 911. Okay, so because if you just say call 911, everyone's in shock. Nobody's going to think. Remember that 10% react, 10% freak, and 80% stand there? So, but once you point at that person, if they're in that 80% of kind of standing there stupid, and you go, you call the police, you call the fire truck, all of a sudden you've given them a task. They all of a sudden have direction. And then you notice, then he secured the weapons away, and the instructor was behind him, kind of prompting him, like, hey, what do you do here? Exactly. This also applies for an emergency in general. You come up to a car accident, right? There are people laid out on the street, which I have had happen as a civilian, just going to work. And I was like, holy shit, there's dudes bleeding next to a car. Another car's flipped on its side. I pulled up, I checked on people, and then I told someone, you call 911. I need an ambulance. You call 911. I need a police car. Tell them fire rescue as well. And then I went and counted, and then I told the person, are you still on the line with 911? And she said, yes. I said, tell them they have 4 victims, multiple lacerations, possible concussion, and a neck injury. They're going to call and tell that 911 dispatcher that, who will put it on the radio. As they're on their way, the fire trucks, everyone will remember and know, all right, we've got these types of injuries. They'll know exactly what to pull out of their ambulance or their fire truck. So yeah, make someone responsible in an emergency. I thought that was a pretty good video. Walked into a church. Yes. And that happened here as well. It was Texas. And actually, that gentleman will be interviewed. The old man is supposed to be interviewed on another channel, and good Lord, I went blank. It's supposed to be tomorrow, guys. If I find it, I'll try and post it on my community page. Somebody showed it to me earlier, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I forgot. But, so the video means it's... Wait, which video? The news video or the guys playing dead? I'm assuming you meant the news video. Yeah. And they will take him offline because they don't want him to be worshipped, so to say. But then it also prevents people from learning. When my kids turn 18, the cars. Yep. No, it doesn't come naturally. And again, that goes to, you guys remember my other video about preparedness, or rather survival mindset and learning mindset? If you take enough training, that training will become part of your survival mindset, which is more the instinctive part of your brain. So you know, oh, that's injury, therefore first aid kit, therefore tourniquet. Actually, Candy, on my channel, I actually put a very basic bug out bag together for one of the members of the family who was about 20 years old, and they just got their first apartment. And I mailed her a bug out bag, or it's a get home bag, and it had all the basics in it. And if you search on my channel, but I may have to come back to that because my bag is different from a lot of other people's bags. So, but yeah, this is one of those things. If you start training, even if you scenario train in the house, clear your weapon, learn how to draw from concealment. If you don't carry, that's fine. You can practice with a tourniquet on each other in the house. Don't let your kids give each other numb legs because then they'll fight. But you can practice with first aid with your kids. And the kids won't freak out. Actually, you can have fun with your kids if they're little. If they're older, you can explain plainly. When the kids turn 21, they get a home protection handgun. So yeah, my daughter and her fiance now have matching SIG 365s. Well, they have 365s, but they don't match. They're different sizes. And I bought them their first defensive shotgun for the house because they're going to buy property. And I said, you're going to have acreage. You need a shotgun at a minimum. And so, ta-da, here's your shotgun. So now we have to go back and train. But yeah, do that kind of training. Train with the first aid kit. So if you have little kids, and Candy, I don't know how old the kiddos are. Well, you said they were a little bit older. Okay, mine live in their own place. Okay, so yours are college age. So yours are about the age of mine. But if you have little kids, you can say, okay, you put ketchup on them and say, okay, you have a cut. And then tell the sibling, okay, what do you do when you have a cut? And tell her, have her put the Band-Aid and put the tape. The kids will have a freaking blast. But I promise you, I did that with my oldest daughter. And when her little brother fell down the stairs and ate shit, which they did a lot when they were growing up, I bought Band-Aids in bulk for my children. They started bandaging each other. There were times I would walk in and one kid would be laid out on the couch, the other one had ice, and one was wrapping the ankle or whatever got hurt. And I'd be like, what happened? He fell out of the tree. Why was he in the tree? He needed a Frisbee. Okay, I'll be right back. And, I'd obviously come and look and make sure they didn't need an x-ray. But yeah, I used to behavior coach. Oh. Yeah. So, hey, Mrs. Getter, welcome. So, did they have their initial graven to them? I think I lost track. Oh. Wait, the pistols? Memories hold the shooter's TikTok, but said it's kids be scared in real life. Wow. If that kid did that, then he's an a-hole. Yeah, same here. I've got my legacy giveaways. Wait, where are you moving to? Arkansas or to Texas? So really, folks, there's a lot of training you can do. That's a formal class, but you can even do something as simple as defensive handgunning at a local shooting range. Even if you don't own a handgun, or you are waiting for your license and you can't possess one, you can go to the range, even in California, and rent it. Oh, that's pretty country up there, Candy. Yeah, and a concealed license not only speeds up ownership, but if you're traveling from state to state and you have the card itself, the little carry license, because in Texas, I don't technically need a license to carry, but I have the card. So when I go to Oklahoma, Louisiana, New Mexico, pretty much every state except California, New York City, I can carry and not get thrown in jail because I carried concealed, because they have reciprocity. So have a good one. Gonna catch the news barbecue. All right, Red, you be good, buddy. Y'all be safe. And speaking of that, I think we're gonna go out for tacos tonight because I don't feel like cooking. It looks like it's gonna rain. And my big potato corgi, the big mama corgi, is over here rolled up because she does not like when the sky dog barks at her, aka Thunder. It freaks her out. I got one more video for you. This one's from our favorite buddies at Homeland. But it's actually a decent video. And let's see if I can get the audio going here. Hang on just a second. All right, let me know if you can hear this one. And oops. Hold on, bear with me here. Can you guys hear that? I'm kind of impressed. They had good music on this. Okay. Hopefully I got the right video.
Active shooter events can occur anywhere at any time, and frequently involve individuals attempting to kill others indiscriminately. These events are unpredictable and can evolve quickly. For this reason, whenever you enter a building as an employee, guest, or customer, you must be prepared and know what it is you will do if faced with the worst-case scenario, even if it's just another day at the office.
Last night, every time I closed my eyes, all I could see were slide decks.
Don't remind me. Sorry I'm late. Did I miss anything?
Did anyone else think Trenchcoat Guy was the bad guy? Oh, yeah.
Hey, you got a minute to catch me up on that?
Hold on. All right, I'm going to try and post. Okay, sorry, guys. Thanks, Klingon, for reminding me.
Thing.
Probably wouldn't be a bad one to
in.
watch with
Is
family or
Amelia here
older
too?
kids.
Let me grab her, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
When startled by a gunshot, it's a natural human reaction to freeze. Unfortunately, this response leaves you vulnerable to what might come next.
Worst possible
If you see
response.
someone frozen in place in this type of situation, make your best attempt to assist them.
I think it's critical that we find a way to make sure this doesn't happen again. We've wasted way too much time.
That's gunfire.
Are you sure that was a gunshot?
That's gunfire.
Was that really a gunshot? Call the police.
If you can't easily evacuate, the best option is to hide. Lock the door, stay close to the ground, and try to find cover from any stray gunfire that may penetrate the walls. If you're able, call 911.
What was that?
Sounded like a gunshot. What should we do?
Come on, let's get out of here.
When possible, the best alternative in an active shooter event is to run. If your path is clear and you can safely reach an exit, evacuate as soon as possible. Of course, some may not have such easy access to a safe exit. In these situations, you must decide for yourself whether it is best to evacuate or to hide. As with any of these options, if you do choose to run, commit to this action. And remember, police will be arriving to assist you and to evacuate the wounded, so be sure to keep your hands up and empty as you clear the building. Otherwise, put simply, don't stop running. Once clear of danger, make contact with 911 to assist their response by providing them information about the shooter, the weapons they're carrying, and the amount of wounded that may still need medical assistance. If you have been unable to evacuate and are trapped in the facility during an active shooter situation, remember, making the decision to hide does not prevent you from putting up a fight later. If you are confronted by the active shooter, you have to assume that your actions are all that stand between yourself, your colleagues, and grave harm. Fight for your life. Search around you for sharp or heavy objects that you may use to disable the attacker. Collaborate with those around you to ensure you aren't acting alone. You're taking action for your survival, so do not hold back, and do not stop fighting until you know beyond certainty that you are safe. Committing to run, to hide, or to fight will keep you safer than if you freeze during a crisis. Remember to prioritize your safety. If you come across those who are wounded and may need assistance, assist them if you can, but do not let them inhibit your escape. As an individual, the most important thing you can do to keep yourself safe, whether it is to run, hide, or to fight, is to commit to your decision and to continuously reevaluate the situation. If you own a business or operate a large public facility, you may be able to better enable individual response to such events by identifying emergency escape routes and exits. Use this information to design evacuation plans that can be used by employees and guests to your facility. Reach out to law enforcement to see if they'll come to your facility and assist you in drafting your response plan or guide you to training that may assist employees in their survival. Remember, this training may be the difference between life or death. See about technology you may be able to incorporate to make your facility safer, which may include audio or visual cues for those with access and functional needs. Plan for and train your employees to assist those who may not be able to run, hide, or fight. Equip them with a first aid or a go kit, an emergency ladder in case you're not on the first story, and explore the possibility of mass notification technologies, which may enable you to alert those in the area of any present dangers. Of course, the hope is that neither you nor any of your friends or colleagues will ever be confronted with an active shooter situation. However, should the worst case occur, know that you can always run, hide, or fight. For more information,
I thought that one was a good one to end the live with. No worries, Loretta. Because it's not panicky. It basically shows you how different people are reacting. There's another one which is a virtual active shooter training, and it has the cops, different teams of police going through the same scenario, and but it's like 2 hours long, and it gets a bit crazy. But unfortunately, I'm a freezer. Well, you see, Dawn, and this is why you want to do the training, right? Go to these classes because, and we had discussed it before, you have, your learning mind, survival mind. Survival mind's going to go fight or flight, and it's going to go with an instinctive reaction. Now, if you train exactly, and no, and I put the link in there, Mrs. Ghetto. I don't know where it wound up in the chat. It was under the Department of Homeland Security. I know, one of our favorite agencies, but they did come up with some really good training materials. So I'll give them kudos. If you train yourself to react a certain way, it's kind of like taking first aid, right? If you've never taken first aid, someone cuts their arm open. What do? You put a towel and you freak and call 911. Whereas if that same person gets hurt and you've been through bloodborne pathogens and first aid and all this other stuff, you're immediately going to say, okay, I know what to do here. I get my first aid kit, get this item, put that over the wound, then I need to put a tourniquet, whatever. But you have to train over and over, and you can even train in your mind. For example, if you're a concealed carry person, first of all, clear your weapon completely. Don't play with loaded guns in the house. Learn how to draw, holster, draw, holster. Okay, one of the exercises I'll do at the range, and I'll do it at a standing range because they don't, unless you rent the whole range, you can't go running around. I leave my mags where I carry them concealed. I leave my pistol on the table because they don't like us drawing from the holster. I draw, shoot two, drop the mag, swap mags, shoot two, and I try and do it as fast as I can. The first time I did that, I launched one of my mags into the range because I hit my jacket as I pulled it out of its holster. I very easily could have done that in real life. So I'm like, okay, I hung up my mag. I shouldn't have done that. Another time, the pistol wouldn't come out, or the pistol wouldn't eject the mag I had in there. I didn't realize the mag had a bent lip. That mag went to the trash. I bought a replacement. So, and that's for shooting. You could do it for first aid. You watch videos like this and then practice with the family, practice with your kids. Why are you grunting over there, young lady? Oh, thunder. She doesn't like the thunder. She's sitting there going, but this kind of video is great because it doesn't horrify children, right? And it is sad that kids have to see this. but it's a reality. And you know, I suspect, I fear, honestly, and Jennifer pointed it out. Everyone talked about it earlier. Um, the removal of faith, removal of family, removal of morals, removal of accountability. We basically have a bunch of adult 7-year-olds running around who, when you disagree with them, resort to shouting and spitting. That's the stuff I did at 6 years old, 5 years old. And I typically got a smack, or I got dragged into my room and I got put to bed with no dinner, kind of thing. And now they're out there, adults, and they think it's okay. That's what's scary. It's not like they know they're not behaving. They think it's okay to be this way. There are other videos. I'll try and find some that are a little more kid friendly, but that one wasn't bad, right? You just have to explain context to your kid. Hey, if there's danger in a school, this is what you do. But train yourself. Take the time to learn. Hey, I was asleep. Lucky, no worries. No worries at all. Mister was in here earlier. I don't know if he was able to stick around. My twins are 12. So and segment, if you have 12-year-olds, because I had 3, as you all know, I used to put a baby bug out in their backpack that would not get them in trouble. Technically speaking, as long as it's not one of the tactical flashlights with the pokers, you could give a kid a flashlight and a poncho and a little one of those little baby bougie first aid kits you find at Target, and say, look, in an emergency, I want you to have this in your bag. If there's a blackout, you have a flashlight. Make sure the school's cool with it. Talk to them about it. If nothing else, talk to the school and ask them, what are your plans for active shooters? What are your plans for evacuating in an emergency? And be part of it. One of the best things I did was start taking FEMA courses, got involved down in Houston, FEMA, the Red Cross, the Guard, knowing how things worked. It takes time, though. And if you're raising kids, that's at a premium. But meetup spots are great. My high schoolers, by the time they were that age, I know one, his car wouldn't start and he ran home to get the jumper cables and then ran back, but he ran track. So to him, you know, a 3-mile run was nothing. Me, I'd be hurting a little bit at my age. But yeah, little ones, Mr. had your 6. He did. Yeah, Hillbilly. There was an active shooter in Uvalde, and he did kill a couple of people in a elementary school. And I saw he got killed, but then I saw another one saying he was taken back alive. So as soon as we're done with this, I'm going to jump over there. But it was an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas. Those are commercially available, but I don't know if schools will allow them in certain places. So again, but folks, look, this kind of stuff, it's stuff that you can train for. You can acquaint your kids, right? Like you said, somebody said up above, they're afraid they'd freeze. Well, if you train yourself and you do those exercises and you plan and you start practicing on a day-to-day basis, you'll start catching yourself. I still walk into even the Vegas casinos when I've been there on vacation, right? And it's like, that's one of the most secure freaking places in the world because they have so much money there. Security and cops everywhere. I still look for the exits. I still look for the defibrillators and the first aid kits. It's instinctive. I actually did a video on my channel with a bunch of little videos I did in the Venetian and in the Wynn up in Vegas. They let me take some videos at like 2 in the morning because I was drunk, and I'm like, this will be a great time to take videos. And actually some of the best footage I took. So maybe I should drink more before I take stock footage. I don't know. But yeah, you'll find yourself start looking, teach your kids that. Hey, if you go to a restaurant, see where the first aid kits are, and see where the exits are in case of a fire. But you know what? Somebody comes in shooting, that door works just as well to get out. So yeah, look for those exits. Look for thank you, Gene. Look for places to go, first aid kits. Yeah, if you start training yourself and just thinking, play that game with the 12-year-olds when you go to the mall. Okay, guys, if there was a fire right now, how do we get out? And then challenge them. Go over here. No, we go over there. You want to make it even better if you said you had twins, you go, all right, whoever gives me the coolest answer gets to pick lunch. Now, you may wind up eating garbage for lunch with the kids, but that's okay. It'll become a game for them, right? And, then they start getting that very basic awareness, not paranoia. They're being practical. And that's the way you want to spin it so the kids don't have a heart attack. Oh, Lord. What a freaking mess. Rip, there is a soft panel body armor that's not metal that would pass a detector, and it would be in a kid's backpack. It's Black Diamond body armor, and they're in Abilene, I think. But there are a couple out there, and it'll protect against handgun rounds. Obviously, a guy comes in with like an AK, it's trouble, but it's a very thin, soft, but it'll be like what John Wick wears in the movie, right? He's going to feel it. The kids are going to get knocked down. They're going to get hurt, but the bullet won't go through and tear them up. So, hey, Navi. But folks, play those games with the family and play them with yourself. And once you start thinking like that, then you catch yourself doing it all the time. It's not being paranoid, it's being aware. Paranoia is, I'm not going out of my house because the bad people are there. That's not what you want. You want to be the person who calmly says, okay, if something happens, I know how to get out of here. So, guys, with that note, I'm going to go and get my shoes and make my way to this really awesome family Mexican joint that's right down the street. And they make killer fajitas and very cold beer. But because I start vacation tonight. So, in light of that, guys, that's your homework. Go study, learn, and find ways to prepare with your family that doesn't give them a heart attack. Even if it's just bandaging pretend wounds. Any of this stuff is good. Yeah, absolutely, Vector. It's like any of those things. Lucky if you're in West Texas, it's the place to stop out here. And I don't say that lightly because I've eaten in Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio, and I've had some killer food. They're really good. Like they could open up in the Riverwalk in San Antonio and do fine. So Texas eating. Yep. Thank you, Gene. Yes, please leave me a like on the way out. And guys, be safe out there. Pay attention and educate the family. Train yourselves, right? Change your mindset from survival to learning. And then with enough learning, when your survival brain kicks in, it's going to automatically start doing the right things because you've trained it in there. So you guys be good. I'm going to grab a bite to eat. And Mrs. Getter, you can also wear the backpack in the front. Yes. And folks, be safe out there. Hey, random. If I didn't say earlier, hello. Guys, be safe, be careful, and make sure you spend time with the family. It's Memorial Day weekend. Don't forget to say a prayer for all those families who did not have their soldiers come home. And if you do see some old veterans, give them some love. Buy them a beer or chips or something. You guys be good. I will see you all next week. Take care.